Hey, shalom, everyone. Welcome to a special episode of my tape with Rosh Ya'acob. I am your host, Rosh Ya'acob ben Abraham, Rabbi of Gethsemane Spiritual Temple Congregation. And on this show, we talk about different issues that's going on in the community. Different things that's happening, and we always come from it with a Torah perspective. So the other day some things happened. I wanted to go live then, but I had so much stuff happening with me personally that I could not do it. And of course, you guys know, those of y'all who follow, y'all know on Wednesdays we have Bible study. So I couldn't do it yesterday. So I said, you know what, I'm just going to have to pick it up today. So I just first want to acknowledge some people that's in the chat. I want to acknowledge Brother Morris from the next session. Thank him for being in the building. And also my sister Natasha, I want to thank her for being in the building as well. All right, so I'm not going to keep you guys long. It was just different things that was going on that I said I wanted to speak about. And like I said, I'm not going to keep you guys long. I'm just going to jump into those different things. And if you've been living under a rock and you don't know what I'm talking about two of the biggest cases that happened in the past 2 weeks. Last week, we had Ricky Chow. Hey, shalom, Pastor. Shalom, good to see you. Hallelujah. So it was two big cases that happened, right? Last week we had Ricky Chow. Ricky Chow, for those of y'all who don't know, he was a guy who owned a gas station. And if any of y'all remember the movie Don't Be a Menace and South Central while drinking your juice in the hood, or if you remember the movie Menace to Society, that's just to name a few. It's always different things that happens, or certain things that happens within the black community between them and either the Chinese, Korean, or Korean store owner that's in the community. And even though those things do take place, we still shop at those different places, right? And when that came up, I actually was preparing a show for that. I'm like, okay, we're going to talk about this, right? And then the very next week, this young man right here, Carmelo Anthony, is found guilty of murder. And I was just like, wow. Like, this is crazy. So it's like two whammies. It was like two different sides of a coin. One side of the coin, a young man who didn't steal anything, did not steal anything, ran for his life, and was shot in his back. Now, He ran at least 2 football fields. He fell once, got up, kept running. He ran out of his shoe. This is how much he was running for his life. He ran out of his shoe. And after he ran out of his shoe, his bag fell. And the whole time as he's running, his bag falls, he has a weapon in it. This guy right here, Ricky Chow, and his son, they still trying to determine which one actually did it, because now the hypothesis is going that it wasn't Ricky Chow, but he's actually taking a fall for his son, who was on the stand acting like he was mute and couldn't understand English and couldn't understand this, that, and the other. He was so lost, right? And they believe that he's taking the fall for his son because the young man, Cyrus, ends up dead. He's unalived. And because a weapon fell out his bag, I was fearing for my life. Now, mind you, they are chasing him, not the other way around. He ran out of his shoe. He fell. He kept running. He got shot in his back, but they feared for their lives and got found not guilty. Carmelo Anthony, on the other hand, was jumped by a group of guys. Right? I even was preparing the stuff for that, right? He was jumped by a group of guys. And as we're going to get into it, he perceived that his life was in danger. From what they showed in the case, he even tried to get away, and a young man who ended up being unalived by Carmelo grabbed him and pulled him back by the jacket as his teammates began to pound on him, and he hits him real quick. And then he realized that he didn't hit him with his fist. He hit him with an object, a sharp object that they believe is a knife. And then he runs away, and they still chase him because they're not chasing him because, oh my goodness, he stabbed this young man. They're chasing him because, oh my goodness, we want to continue to beat on him because he was running his mouth as they perceived it. He said, I feared for my life. I was just defending myself. He got found guilty of murder in the first degree. In other words, they're saying that he premeditated that he was going to murder this young man. He got found guilty of that. So you got the contrast, right? And it's like, no peace, no justice, no peace. What am I saying with that? No justice, no peace. Y'all might be thinking, oh, you said if you don't got no justice, then nobody gonna have peace. No, we said if you can't get justice, then how are you gonna have peace? If you can't get justice, how are you gonna have peace? How? Right? I always take time on this segment of the show to show y'all Torah and to get you guys to see how American law versus Torah law is like the sun versus some dirt. I know y'all thought I was gonna say another planet. Hey, shalom. Hey, shalom, Moray. Shalom, everyone. Yeah, it's like, just think about that. So I always do that. So that's gonna be no different tonight. I just want for some of y'all who don't really know what's going on if you was under a rock, right? I want to go into some of the stuff. And then after I go into some of the videos, because I know I don't got much time to show y'all all the videos, right? I don't want to make this into a 2-hour show, all right? I just want to show you some stuff. And then we're going to jump on the Torah. We're going to break some stuff down according to Torah as we reflect on the different things that we had. So that's the whole thing in a nutshell, right? So let us first catch up on what was going on, right? So this is what was on my news feed the other day, and I was just like, wow, what is going on here? And I think so. In the middle of them doing an interview, right, they're going to realize that the jury came back within 3 hours, people. Less than 3 hours. That means they already had their mind made up. You come back in less than 3 hours with a verdict? Okay. Watch this.
Look at the immediacy, the need, the necessity of...
See, now this guy's talking. Right? This guy's talking and he's I guess going ahead and talking about the case and so forth and so on, and she's about to break into what he's saying and say the verdict is in, and it's, you're gonna see it's almost like a surprise, like, wait a minute, they back that fast? Watch this.
The action.
Okay, I'm gonna jump in. We do have a verdict in this case.
She just said I gotta jump in. We do have a verdict in this case, right? What's this?
And I am hearing that it is a guilty verdict, guilty of murder in this case of Carmelo Anthony. Brooke is moving to the camera right now as we wait for the official word. We expect that this means that they will come out and make a statement at some point. Immediately, Jonathan, as we wait, what would be happening in this courtroom right now? The verdict has been read. I would imagine that he will be escorted to chambers and then back to jail. He has not been in jail during this process, I should point out. Jonathan.
The most difficult thing to watch is when they escort, particularly a young defendant, directly to jail after a decision of the court. No matter how well you prepare the family, it is a devastating moment, and it's devastating for everyone, even people who think that the person should go to jail. The family is never prepared for seeing their son or daughter taken to a side door by marshals.
All right, so one thing I was... I said I want us to have a conversation. Okay. Oh, hey, that's Brother Terrell. Hey, Brother Terrell. Brother Jordan, good to see you in the building, Key. My glasses was kind of blurry. I was like, somebody is saying something. I can't see what they said. Okay. Amen. So, amen. So I'll let y'all talk it out. It look like y'all having a conversation. I ain't going to interfere. So this was the thing. It dropped. We see people upset. And I was like, I seen a lot of videos. And I was like, at the time, I wanted to go live and just talk about those things. But as I said, it was some things going on. So I was unable to. But yeah, we definitely going to get into, as you say, Aki, we definitely going to get into the size of. I really don't want to. We'll see. We're going to touch on it. We're going to touch on it, right? We're going to touch on it, right? So we're going to touch right on it. I got y'all. All right, so. Let me come back right here. All right. So I really want to look at some different clips. I got a lot of clips I want us to watch. All right, so this one is where they're going to talk about, they're going to go into some things about Carmelo. And we're going to, like y'all said, if I want to have a conversation. So if there's some other things you guys got that y'all want to say, y'all can bring it up and we can talk about this. Because I just felt that day like that. We need to talk about this. Right? We got to do something about this, right? So let's listen to what the young lady has to say.
And Joanna, what do you think about the theory that the prosecution has that Carmelo Anthony's position all along was to get someone to do something so that he could kill them? Now,
this, unfortunately, is the narrative that many people did put out, right? In which people tried to battle against. That, why did he have a knife? Oh, he was looking for someone to do something because he wanted to be able to stab them, right? So that gives you the idea of premeditation. So we could get you to believe that he had a nefarious reason for having this knife on him at a track meet. If we could get you to see that in that manner, that we could get you to see that, yeah, he went there and he picked fights with everybody. And then the Austin brothers just happened to be the ones, or the Metcalfs just happened to be the ones that stood up to him. And then that was the ammunition he needed, right? But let's listen to what she said. Because what she said is going to, as we get into it later, we'll see how this is going to mirror what Torah states. But let's get into what she's going to say.
Do you think that's effective? And is Carmelo Anthony going to have to take the stand to combat that?
Hi, Julia. I definitely think there's a damage that happens when you kind of over-exaggerate and emphasize things that aren't necessarily going to be consistent with what the defense is going to put forward. Carmelo Anthony was a good student. He worked. He came from a good family. He's got a support system. He participated in athletics. And you want the jury to believe that he really came to school with the intention of, or a track meet with the intention of murdering somebody.
See? So in other words, you're looking at it from a perspective where you feel like, and that's a problem with American law as well, as we're going to look at it, right? You look at it from this perspective where I got to come up with this motive and I got to over-hyper this motive because we need to be able to point the finger at somebody and say, it's them, they did it, right? And this is a situation because clearly this young man who had all this stuff going for him did not come there with the intention of saying, yeah, I'm going to stab somebody today. But that was how they put it forth because that shows premeditation. First degree murder, you got to be able to show premeditation.
I think that's a far stretch of the imagination, and the prosecution is almost like just over-promising and likely going to under-deliver in that regard.
We'll talk about the over-promising and undelivered, especially when it comes to that surveillance video that was shown. But Nicole, Joanna, the state did start with surveillance video that was very grainy. Up until this point, no one in the public has been able to see it outside of reporters who were able to go and look at it, take notes, handwritten notes, and then tell their viewers or their readers about what they saw. And now we're in the same situation because there are no cameras inside of that courtroom. What do you think about the prosecution really hanging their hat on this surveillance video?
My understanding of the video is that it's difficult to make out like clear pictures of what's going on, but I do think that it might highlight if there was chaos at the scene, how many people were around, and kind of shed some light, maybe even for the defense, on what was going through Carmelo's mind at the time when this incident occurred. Because really what it boils down to was, did he perceive a threat in that moment that he might be subjected to some serious bodily injury or death? And if there is it brings to mind this case, Raul Valle, where he was surrounded by a group of people. He ends up using a knife and stabs some of the victims there, and one of them dies. And he was acquitted of these charges, the top charges, because of, you know, his perceived fear in that moment, or his perceived threats. And I think this video, as grainy as it may be, may actually shed some light on the commotion and the activity that was taking place, and how that impacted Carmelo's thinking.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And great case comparison with the Raul Valley case.
All right, so we see she gives a case. She gives a breakdown of this case. She says, just to get a jury something to think about. But we're going to talk about this jury too, because the jury was not of his peers. It was not of his peers at all. We'll talk about that as well. But I'm going to go to another day. So hold on, let me see real quick before we get to that. All right, so that's that video. Let me see. So now that was before. So that was giving us a view of before. That's the hope of what they think is going to happen. And then this happens, right? He's found guilty.
Anthony has been found guilty of first-degree murder in the stabbing of Austin Metcalf in 2025. First-degree murder in the state of Texas carries up to 99 years in prison, which means that Carmelo Anthony could serve up to life in prison with the possibility of parole. What's next is the sentencing phase. Of course, the jury is a jury of his peers in his county, which are all white, so they rejected the self-defense claim.
Again, that was a jury of his peers. All white jury. All white. Now, mind you, it was some black people that was slated to be on the jury, and they got dismissed because they were school teachers. That's a reason to dismiss you from the case because you are a school teacher? Okay, but let's keep going.
And manslaughter. Now I'm trying to keep my composure because we don't know what this young man is about to receive. Do I think he received a fair trial? No, I don't.
Me neither.
They just cost him his whole life. Do I believe he was protecting himself? Yes. But in this country, white boys will always get a pass for being aggressive towards black boys. White boys can always be the bully. They can always push, shove, call you whatever you want, and can be the aggressor. And if a black boy retaliates, he's considered a thug, even though he's a 3.7 GPA student and a top athlete. This is his first offense, and I do not believe he did it on purpose. I believe he just wanted to protect himself, because whether people want to realize, people of the Caucasian persuasion are the most dangerous people in this country, and it could put anybody on high alert. To Carmelo Anthony's family, I am so sorry, but we all know how this country looks at black boys.
Now that was deep. That was deep how she put that, right? How does this country look? That could be something for y'all in the chat. How does this country view FBA, ADOS, Israelites? How did this country view them? Let's think about that for a minute. I know some of the people in the chat are like, there you go. Hey, I'm going to be cool. I'm going to let the people do the speaking for me. I'm going to be cool. I'm going to let the people do the speaking for me. I'm going to let the people do the speaking for me. Now, again, this is a versus thing, right? So we looking at Carmelo Anthony. Many of y'all might already have your view about Carmelo. Y'all might be like, it's unfortunate, but he stabbed the boy with a knife. He should have came up with another way. When they told him move, he should have just moved. He shouldn't have stood his ground. He should have just gotten the water and got wet and went about his business. Like, many people got many things on what they think he should and shouldn't have done, right? And this is where they come at it with, especially amongst our people. We always try to come up with a, well, you should have did this, you should have did that mentality, because we just want to stay out the way and don't get caught up with stuff, right? Oh, see, you should have just did this. See, you should have just did that, right? So we look at that compare and contrast. But what I want to show you is he had, no matter how you want to view it, he at least had something where it said, hey, he might be going through something. And if he is going through something, then let's look at that. Right? He might be going through something. He got a legitimate reason, right? Don't we always get the legitimate reasons, right? As far as when other people do stuff with us. And that's what made it so crazy, because the contrast is so close. Because just last week, right? Just last week, this took place. Let me show you what took place just last week. Young Cyrus Bolton was gunned down, running away. Let's listen to this.
So, Asian man kills black boy, 14-year-old boy, for stealing a water bottle.
A water bottle.
Court case kicks off. Seems highly unlikely that the stealing of that water bottle actually ever even happened.
It didn't happen. We know now it ain't happened. Even the little son that was up there stuttering, that everybody believed is the one who really did it, even he was like, apparently, all the stuttering. Just say it, man. Apparently he didn't have the water. So y'all chased this boy for almost 2 football fields for nothing. After he patted himself down to the mother and the wife and told her, I don't have nothing. Look, and pat herself down, showed he ain't had nothing. She still didn't believe him. Some kind of way he magically did something with it. And they show him outside getting himself together, about to walk off, and as he's walking away, he looks and he sees these guys coming after him, and one has a gun. And the guy with the gun feared for his life, even though the other one did. I'm gonna let her say it. Let's go ahead.
Oh, important note. The punishment for stealing a 50-cent fucking water bottle from your shop is not being shot and killed in the streets. But apparently, if you're black, it's fine for that to happen to you. Black community finds no justice in the justice system because we rarely fucking do.
So, as you can tell, she's really, really upset. The sister's really, really upset. But what I want to do at this point, I want to interject and show you how the Torah view this situation. I want to interject for a minute and show you how the Torah view this situation, right? So we're going to look at how would the Torah view this situation, right? So let's go to, hold on one second. I gotta maneuver this around. So let's look at how would the Torah view this situation. All right, so let me go back here to Sephiria. All right, so how would the Torah view this situation? Let's look at this real quick. Shemot, or Exodus chapter 22, right? Y'all know I gotta get in. I gotta give you the Torah perspective on this, right? Shemot, Exodus chapter 22, verse 1. If the thief is found, right? Yemse means to find, right? and he is found. If the thief is found, or in other words, caught, while breaking in, and is struck and killed, there's no liability for his blood. Now, you might say, all right, this is talking about breaking in somebody's house. This is talking about something about a store. But I just want to just give you a perspective just on this about somebody breaking in. Because if somebody openly comes in, not somebody sneakily sneaks something away, that's something different, right? That's even a different aspect on that. But this is when somebody openly come up to you and they're coming in to take something from you, and you have to have the idea, especially if they have something on them, that they're willing to take your life for whatever it is that they're about to do. If that situation is happening and the person who's the owner of the establishment or the house sees this, and one thing comes to another, right, and the person is struck and unalived, there's no liability for his blood, right? That's Torah. There's no liability, right? There's no punishment for that, right? But if the sun shone on him, there is liability for the blood. Now, you might be thinking, well, what in the world, if the sun shone on him, what in the world does that mean? Well, let's take a look and see. What in the world does that mean? Right? Well, let's take and see. I'm gonna come back to your question in a minute. I'm trying to establish something real quick. Show how the Torah will review this, right? So let's look at this. I want you guys to see Rashi, right? Now, I don't always agree with Rashi. I don't always agree with Rashi at all, right? But let's just look at Rashi for a minute. I want to be objective, right? I don't want to be looked at as not being objective. But so let's look at Rashi, right? Rashi says, if the sun shone upon him, this is only metaphorical expression, signifying if the fact is clear that to you that he is peaceably disposed towards you. The simile is, just as the sun brings peace and happiness to the world, so this is Rashi said this, so it is evident to you that he did not come with the intention of killing, even if the owner of the property would resist him, right? So, did he come with the idea of killing somebody? So somebody say, well, and I don't know if that's what I believe that's the minister. Forgive me, my glasses get kind of foggy when I'm looking at certain things I can't see, but I will go to the chat and look at it in a minute. But if somebody comes, even if they got a weapon on them, right? If they're if they're not imposing a threat to you with their weapon, in other words, they don't got their weapon out on you. They don't got the weapon drawn. They not telling you put your hands up. They not telling you get over there, nobody moves but the money and all that kind of stuff. Even if he did steal something, you can't just take him out. He has to pose some kind of threat to you. Now, this is Rashi. Now, it's not just Rashi that says this, right? I mean, it's not just Rashi that says this. Let's go back. Ramban, right? Look at what Ramban says. So Ramban bases it off of what Rashi says, right? Ramban goes to witnesses. Says he brings up Onkelos, which is one of the great targums or translators of the text back in the day. Onkelos is like the targum that will be read if you want to read a translation version. You will look at the targum. So we got Onkelos, right? Look at what Onkelos says. Onkelos rendered the phrase "if the sun has risen upon him" as if the eye of the witness fell upon him. Right? So Onkelos looked at it in a whole different way. He said, if you got witnesses, and if the witnesses see what's taking place, and they say, man, it's no threat towards you, right? Look at this. If the eye of the witness fell upon him, choose a different way of interpreting the verse, which follows. Let me go back. It says, if the witness found the thief before the householder came, and when the householder came to resist the thief, they warned him not to kill the thief. And he does it anyway. He is liable. He's liable. If the witnesses seen him. Now, let's think about this. The young man is running away. He's not pointing any weapon at nobody saying, I'm about to shoot you. None of that. He's running. You guys are chasing him, right? He's running for his life. He runs out his shoe. Witnesses see this. Witnesses say, we seen him run out his shoe. Witnesses say, we seen him fall down and got back up and kept running. Witnesses say, we seen his bag and all his stuff that was in his bag fall. This is what the witnesses say. Now, as the witnesses is saying this, you still come up and kill him? You are guilty. You're guilty. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts. What are we talking about? Why we gotta try to figure something out? Some hypothetical story that only him or his son, when his son might have been the one who actually did the deed in the first place, and the dad covering up for him. Because as everybody pointing out, this young man was running so fast and so long, and you telling me a 60-year-old man kept up with him. I'm not even 60. And I can tell you, I probably had a hard time keeping up with his little body. I'd be like, oh my goodness. And you telling me this guy, this old dude kept up with him. So they make a good point. It seemed plausible, right? But anyway, you can't do that. You can't just take the person's life, right? See, I might say, all right, I hear you. Well, let's look at the Sefarno. Let's look at Sefarno, right? And let me see. Now, Sefarno doesn't talk about that aspect. Let me see. Let me scroll down. It was a couple of more that talked about it. Kiskuni, right? Let's look at what he says, right? If the thief had remained in full view of the potential victim and the owner killed him, right? So what is he saying? He is guilty of bloodshed. The intended victim of the thief, the owner of the house, in this instance, the store, if it had been clear to that owner that the intruder did not mean to kill, but only to steal, even though the young man didn't even steal nothing, and he, the owner, overreacted by killing him or taking his life, then he must pay restitution. Eye for eye, tooth for a tooth, limb for a limb. Can't get around it. The young man running away from you, he's no threat to you. You can't be a threat to somebody that you're running away from. Then y'all ran so far away from your store, it's ridiculous. And he's still running. Even though a weapon fell out of his bag, he still was running. Because the story don't make sense. The son says he was pointing a gun at me, and then my daddy came and shot him. Okay, if he was pointing a gun at you, and your daddy came and shot him, how was he shot in his back? That was something that I felt like the prosecution should have hammered in on. I felt like they dropped the ball with that. I would have hammered in on it. How was she shot in his back? How? And in a part of his back, you can't say he was turning at the time, because the trajectory of the bullet don't even fall in line with that. The trajectory of the bullet, I might be messing that word up, but the way the bullet went into him, right, it shows somebody running away from you, and he's shot in his lower back. Totally opposite of you. So how is it self-defense? How? It makes no sense at all. Clearly, under Torah law, this dude would have been found guilty. No doubt about it. But American law and it's FBA ADOS that we said is the perceived victim. Oh, no, they did something wrong. They did something wrong. Sorry, they did something wrong. And that's just how it's viewed. Crazy. Crazy. So let me look and see what my brother was saying. My brother minister said, Moray, did he have a gun and he was pointing it at the people? No. No. Because, again, if he had the gun and he was pointing it at the people, how he gets shot in his back? And no witnesses. Remember, gotta have 2 or 3 witnesses. No witness said that they seen him turn around at any point. Everybody who seen him running away. He was running away. If I'm standing in front of you and I got a gun pointing at your son and you come at the last minute while your son's saying, please don't kill me, please don't take my life, and I'm pointing it and you shoot and unalive, it should be in my chest somewhere, in my stomach, somewhere, right? Shoulder, front of the head, whatever, right? Not in my lower back. How is it in my lower back? That's why I said the prosecution should have nailed in on that. It wouldn't have been no way for them to get around it. You can't say somebody is self-defense because they feared for their life and the person got shot in their back running away from you. Clearly was not a threat to you at all. He was just trying to get away. Not a threat at all, right? But I'm glad you brought that up, Key, because that's another perspective that people use. People use that perspective. They say, "Oh, this was happening, that was happening," right? They use that perspective. Now watch this. Hold up. Let me go back here. So, but I just want to show y'all how our Torah would look at that instance. Now I'm running out of time, and it was something. So I'll show y'all this. This brother right here, brother Molly. Molly is going to be saying something deep. I'm going to show y'all Molly real quick and what he's going to be saying.
Crazy how y'all was saying Rick Chow was defending himself when Cyrus was literally running away from the situation, literally.
Exactly. How you defending yourself and somebody running away from you? But I defended myself. Not guilty. What? Are you serious right now? Are you serious right now? Go ahead, brother. Keep going.
He ran the whole football field and got chased down and got shot. And y'all said Rick Chow was defending himself. But Carmelo Anthony wasn't defending himself when a group of kids was trying to jump Buddy. And y'all just...
See? He defended himself chasing somebody who's no threat to him at all. Carmelo defends himself by attacking somebody that he's seen as a threat. And the one who actually chased down an innocent person and shot him in his back and took his life is told that he's innocent and found not guilty. But the one that actually was defending himself is told you guilty. And you getting 35 years. 35 years.
y'all dead be picking and choosing, and it's crazy. Like, if Carmelo Anthony doesn't get a not guilty plea, they literally playing in our face. Like, I feel like people don't get it. Like, how was Rick Child defending himself, but how Carmelo Anthony wasn't defending himself? Like, I don't know.
I don't know neither, Molly. I don't know neither. I don't know neither. Now, this is after the verdict. Listen to this, sister.
The verdict is in for Carmelo Anthony, and they just found him guilty. And I'm going to tell you right now that I'm not surprised. I knew that they was going to find him guilty. Black folks, ain't no need to coming up here making videos about it. It ain't no need. It's no need. I'm not surprised. I am not surprised at all. But yeah, breaking news just then.
And the crazy thing is, I don't think none of us was surprised. I think what it is you just had this hope that these oppressors are going to finally look at you in a different light. Think about Malcolm X's father, right? Remember Malcolm X's father on the movie X, and the Ku Klux Klan was on his property, and he came out to tell her, "I'm a man, I'm a son of a man." And he just wanted them to acknowledge that he's a man. And his wife said, "You should have shot them," right? But he just wanted them to know, "I'm a man, respect me." And what did they do later? Put him on a train track and took him out. What is the definition of insanity? To continue to do the same thing over and over and over and think that it's going to be a change. Think it's going to be a different result. Marching, it's going to be a different result this time. Same result. Going outside protest, it's going to be a different result this time. Same result. You keep doing the same thing, it's going to be the same result. Something gotta give. Something gotta give.
Another young black man life is being flushed down a toilet just for defending himself. And this is what I mean when I say being black in America. And it's okay for them to dehumanize us, for them to demean us, and it is even okay for them to harm us. That's the message that America is pretty much telling the world.
Now think about it. What would you say? What would you say? What can you say? Is she wrong? But what can you say?
So, yeah, that's it. So the verdict is in.
Right? That's it. Now hold on. Now watch this. Now y'all might say, "Oh, a black man. It's just you saying this stuff. It's just you saying this stuff." Well, watch this. Watch how this young lady, young white woman, is going to say something similar. Just listen to her. Watch this.
Everyone in Texas is all about stand your ground and self-defense until that person doesn't look like me. This case is racially charged, and stick with me here. If the roles were reversed, if Carmelo Anthony was 220 pounds with his twin brother, picking on a white kid, putting hands on a white kid, and he got unalived, y'all would say that he got exactly what was coming to him, and
Tell me she lying. Tell me she lying. We all know. Tell me she lying. If the roles was reversed, and we would say justice, we want justice for the boy that got killed by this other guy, right? And the roles was reversed. They just said, "No, he a hero." Right? Here, he did what he had to do to make it. We said with Ricky Chow. when a young man was running for his life. So if we can see that with Ricky Chow, how can we not see that with this? Wake up. Wake up, people, wake up.
If he would have kept his hands to himself, he would still be here today. You can't tell me that race isn't a thing because it's in my TikTok comments and I've seen hundreds of comments on Facebook. So if you flip this scenario and come...
And she right. I done see hundreds of comments. I made a video last year when this first happened with Carmelo. I made a video. And this video was my most watched video ever. Right? Which surprised me. I was like, wow. And on top of it, it was so many racist people in the comments saying all kind of hateful, crazy stuff to me. And I was like, did you even look at the video? Because some of the stuff you saying, I actually spoke against. And that made me think you just seen the title and came on here and said, I'm going to say something crazy and then get off. You didn't even watch the video. You didn't even look at the video. So she's right. There's a lot of trolls out here that's waiting to rage bait you, waiting to get under your skin. They are waiting.
Carmelo Anthony was the aggressor in this situation and your opinion changed, you are racially biased. And to the white people in my comments calling me a white savior, God forbid I have empathy. If you're RICist, just say that and move on. In my last video, I said I didn't know why Carmelo Anthony was sitting under that tent. Turns out it started raining and Carmelo got permission from the coach. That's not...
Uh-oh. Did y'all know that? Y'all listen to the Sarah Fields who said, oh, it was this, that, and the other, and say all kind of lies. Did y'all know he got permission from the coach? Not just that he knew somebody under there, who the young man then got scared and said, he just an acquaintance of mine. I don't really know him like that, though. Did y'all know he got permission from the coach to be under the tent? Didn't know that. Keep going.
Even his school, he got permission from a coach to sit under that tent. Granted, it's free seating, but he got specific permission. Don't get me wrong, it's absolutely tragic that Austin lost his life. His parents lost their son. No parent should have to ever lose their kid. But it makes me think, what would have happened if Austin and Hunter would have left Carmelo alone and not talked to him?
All they had to do was leave him alone. The young man was sitting under there minding his business. And they came over, what are you doing under here? And had their mob with them. That's why they didn't let the other young guy, the brother, get on the stand, because he would have got questioned about that and he would have had to admit it, because they got video tape with him saying what happened. And then he changes it up. So he would have got caught up with that. So we can't put him on the stand. No. We're not even going to let him be in court that day. You want to keep him away.
Approached him, not instigated a situation and then escalated it by putting hands on him. Because y'all want to say, oh, it's not self-defense. Austin and his brother are 220-pound football players, and Carmelo was 130 pounds. If you can't...
So you got 200 and something pounds versus 130 pounds. 200 times two. And it wasn't just them. As people who see the video said, it was a group of them. It was them two and their boys. We was in school. We know how people roll with cliques. I got my clique. We want to mess with somebody, right? You done seen how bullies roll. They got their clique. They step up to you, everybody laughing at whatever little dumb joke the bullies say, and they start bullying you. And everybody around waiting for the word so they can mash on you. I got a video with young kids doing it to some students where they followed them home on a bus and jumped not only those students, but the mother as well. So we know what kids do. We know how they do it. So why are we thinking it just was those two guys and it just was them? And no. That's why the video was grainy all of a sudden. I had a clip where a guy was talking about the video, so I might have to make another one where I could talk about that. Right, it was a guy talking about the video, and he broke it down and said that the video wasn't grainy, and he got real deep with it. But I'm gonna let her finish up.
Can't visualize that. I'm 180. I got 50 pounds on the kid. Not only were they both in his face,
She said, I got 50 pounds on the kid.
but one of them put hands on him. He was scared. I feel like Austin and Hunter were looking for trouble, because if they were really so aggravated by this kid sitting there for whatever reason, they would have gotten an adult to remove him. They wouldn't have
Exactly. That's what I put it out on the videos that I made last year. Why you don't just get somebody to move him? If him being under there is such a problem and he not listening to you, get somebody with authority to come over and say, hey kids, you gotta go. Why do you have to be the one to make him go? Why do you gotta poke your chest out like you somebody?
approach him, talk shit, and put hands on him. I'll probably get crucified for this, but I don't care. What's right is right, what's wrong is wrong. It's crazy to me how everyone in Texas is all...
So that was our other perspective, right? It's not just a black perspective, not just FBA perspective. She's not FBA, and she said the same thing. So just want to point that out. Hold on, because I wanna talk about that as well. But let me see. I want to keep up with what y'all guys saying, because I said I want to have a conversation. Why can't I see? I know he just said something. Okay, for some reason I can't see it. Oh, it got retracted. Oh, so you must have said something next session and then took it back. Because I'm like, I don't see what you said. Okay. So let's go further. I'm gonna skip through some of this and just come back at another point. But I'm going. You know I gotta do it. For those of y'all that don't know, you know I gotta do it. I gotta put the Prince of Pan-Africanism on here, because he got to take on this as well. So let's see what Dr. Umar is saying. Well, let's see what Dr. Umar got to say.
Bought a rifle, cross. Carmelo Anthony could have been beat to death that day, and instead he chose to stand his ground. Why?
He got a point. I done seen people get beat by mobs. He got a point. Hey, let's keep going.
White folks all up in arms over this. Y'all wasn't up in arms when Breonna Taylor got murdered.
No, they wasn't.
Y'all wasn't up in arms when Trayvon got murdered.
No, they wasn't.
Y'all wasn't up in arms with Freddie Gray or Philando Castile or Tamir Rice or Sandra Bland. Y'all wasn't up in arms with Amir Locke, Sonia Massey, all these black people murdered by police and so-called vigilante white people. Y'all didn't say nothing about them. Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines, Art.
I'm pissed, and if you don't like no cussing,
That's true, right?
Carmelo and
That's true. Let's go back to that part about Kyle Rittenhouse.
George Zimmerman. Art.
This young man crossed state lines, 17 years old, right around the age that Carmelo was, right? He crossed state lines with an automatic weapon, shot people and unalived them, and got on stand and cried, and they said, oh, he was defending himself. Not guilty. Not guilty. This guy right here, right? But we supposed to just say, oh, you know, it is what it is. Keep going, guys. Go ahead, Dr. Umar.
Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines, bought a rifle, crossed state lines.
Across state lines.
Unalived 2 people, injured many others, and he went home free.
Free.
No conviction. George Zimmerman pursued Trayvon Martin.
Pursued Trayvon. Trayvon was minding his business walking. This guy pursued him and said, I feared for my life. That's like I said, I feared for my life. And they said, oh, yeah, he black. Oh, okay, yeah, I got you. Yeah, you should have been scared.
With a gun, shot him in cold blood. He went home. No conviction.
No conviction.
Daniel Penny.
Daniel Penny. I did a video about this guy too. Oh my goodness. It made me so mad. This guy actually killed a homeless man on a train. And people like Mike Walsh called him a hero. But whenever it's somebody else of a darker hue that does something, that same Mike Walsh that called him a hero called them murderers. This guy right here, y'all might be like, well, who's this Mike Walsh dude he's talking about, right? This guy right here.
Decades of justifying and excusing criminality have led us to a point where people who commit blatant first-degree murder are celebrated.
Right? That guy who claimed people celebrating blatant murder. Right? That guy right there was the same person as I pointed out in a video, and I'm going to do something else about him because he was running his mouth again. Same person that was running around pumping up people that committed blatant murder. Same person, right? So this was my answer to him as he said that.
How'd you get it? Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
I said, dude, if that's the case, we got it from you. We learned it by watching you because you do it all the time, Mikey. Anyway, let me get off my rant about Mikey. I just... Woo! Let me go back. Let me go back to Dr. Umar.
Daniel Penny choked our brother Jordan Neely to death in
death.
a New York City subway.
Yes.
Daniel Penny.
The subway was cleared. They said he was saving people. The subway was cleared. The people was off the subway. It was other people there that was holding the guy arm and stuff. They telling him, look, man, everybody gone, you can let him go now. He shook his head, no, I'm not letting him go. And he choked that man till he died. Then he let him go. That guy, Daniel Penny, who choked a man to death who had mental illness, took him out, and they celebrate him as a hero. He was protected. He was a hero. Get out of here.
He choked Jordan Neely to death. No conviction.
None.
Daniel Penny pursued Jordan Neely.
Yes, he did.
George Zimmerman pursued Trayvon
Yes,
Martin.
he did.
Kyle Rittenhouse crossed state lines and pursued trouble, and they went home without a charge.
Ricky Chow pursued Cyrus Bolton. Ricky Chow pursued him and killed him, and he went home just last week.
Carmelo Anthony was sitting under a tent so he couldn't get wet. He was sitting under a tent so he couldn't get wet, and two racist white boys thought they had a right to forcibly move this black boy from that space. White people have always felt that they had jurisdiction over the black body. It goes back to the plantation days, Art. The problem with this case is the stand your ground law was meant for white people to be used against black people.
Now, y'all might say that's not true. I don't know. So far from the news clips and stuff that happens, seems like that's the case. Seems like that might be the case. It seems like that might be the case. Now, I'm going to go to something real quick because I want you guys to see where the Torah stands on this, right? I got so many clips with people going on and on about this. That's why I said I probably had to do a part 2 to this. I got so many clips to show you guys, right? But I want to show you the Bible and what the Bible has to say, right? Let's look at the Torah and what Torah says about these things. So we're going to go right here. Because I want you guys to see. I want y'all to see what the Torah says about this, right? I want you guys to see this. Like, what does the Torah say about this? So, and note, this is from 2002. And look at how relevant it's going to be. Look at what they say. There's been much discussion of death, manslaughter, and judgments in the news this week. I said, wow, this was 24 years ago, and it's talking just like what's going on today, right? 24 years ago, 2002. There has been much discussion of death, manslaughter, and judgments in the news this week, right? And our Parsha discussed these topics as well. As always, the Torah guides us, right? This is what guides us, right? The Torah guides us. Now, he says, simply leafing through the pages of the Chumash, right? For those of y'all know what Chumash is, the Chumash is not some new book. It is the first 5 books of the Bible. Chumash signifies the Hebrew word for 5. It's the first 5 books of the Bible. It's called the Chumash, right? And the Chumash also has commentary in it. So this is what the guy is alluding to. He says, we can read the Torah's attitude and methodology and contrast them with what we have recently seen and read, which is what we're going to do, right? You shall not twist judgment nor recognize faces. You shall not take bribes, because bribery blinds the eyes of the wise and twist the words of the righteous, right? Now, y'all might say, what you mean by bribery and twisting the words of the wise, right? I gotta add this part here that I didn't get to show you guys, so I gotta show you this part in there. And this is where we'll get to this part, and then I'm gonna come back and probably stop after that, right? But I want to show you this. It's been allegations that, well, it's been things that happen to make, and that's what I was going to lead up to. It's been allegations of things that happen, right? To get you guys to see certain things. So I want to show you this, right? Watch this.
Heads up, guys. Heads up. Public service announcement. Carmelo Anthony. I think I'm pronouncing the young man's right. Carmelo Anthony. The young guy that was accused of unaliving Austin Metcalf. This happened a while back. Carmelo was attacked by 4 white teenagers. And it was all filmed. Everyone there said that Austin, the young man that lost his life, was the aggressor, and that Carmelo was only defending himself. Well, not only does he have to go up against an all-white jury in his trial.
Now, remember what it said, twisting stuff, right? Let's go back. I want y'all to see this. Now, remember what it says in this text, right? I want y'all to see what Torah says, right? So let me go back to the text. So I want you guys to see this. Look at what it says. You shall not twist judgment. You can't set judgment up in a way where it's going to benefit somebody over somebody else. You can't do that, right? But let's go back, because I want y'all again to take in what she's about to tell us. Right, so I want y'all to take in what she's about to tell us, because she's saying not only did he have to fight against an all-white jury, but watch this.
But he also has to go up against his father's friends, the judge John Roach and the DA Greg Willis.
Now you might be like, what is she talking about? Well, these guys all know each other. They was all friends. Watch this.
Jeff McAfee is their friends. They're in pictures together. These are buddies. So how in the hell is the judge over the trial and the DA friends with the victim's father? And they're over this case.
How, Sway? How? Right? Now you might say, oh, that's just her talking. We don't really got no proof or nothing like that. That's just her talking. We don't really got no proof like that. Okay, let's see if we got some proof like that. Let's see if we got some proof like that. Let's hear from this brother.
Jeff Metcalf, the judge, Judge Roach, and the DA, the prosecutor, whatever. This is crazy. They're hanging out and they got a cup. I mean, they're kicking it. They're friends. They're homeboys, right? And so you telling me that this whole thing is constructed against Carmelo? There's no way. There's absolutely no way there's a fair trial going on. No way. Absolutely no way.
How, Sway? How? Right? So you might say, okay, well, that's just him. That's just him. Okay, let's see. That's just him. All right. Here go a fellow judge. Watch what she says.
Shout out to Secret Service Sam. He has released this photo, which is allegedly a photo of the father of the victim in the Carmelo Anthony case, the district attorney, and the judge.
Boom! Hold on. Where my sound effects at? Okay, keep going, sis.
If true, this is a huge issue. Previously, I served as an associate judge, and later on, I had cases in front of other judges. When I would have those cases in front of those other judges, every last one of those judges, sua sponte, meaning without motion, recuse themselves out of fairness. That's just what you do. Now, mind you, regarding those other judges, I had never been to their homes. It was nothing personal. We just knew each other socially. Some of us had run for judge together on the same ticket, but I didn't know their personal business. We had never even gone out to eat. This appears to be an intimate gathering of some sort.
Again. Now, I thank you guys who's still hanging in there with me. I'm about to close out in a few minutes. I just had to show y'all that, because that's going to make what I'm saying, what we're reading in this verse, as far as from this passage, mean so much more. It's going to make it mean so much more, right? So I said I got to let you guys see that, because so it can mean so much more. Now let's finish looking at what they say. Let's finish looking at it, right? So it says, you shall not twist judgment nor recognize faces, right? You can't recognize, you can't big somebody up because you know them. Can't big somebody up because you know them, right? You can't do that in a case. Right? You shall not take bribes, because bribery blinds the eyes of the wise and twists the words of the righteous. Justice justice shall you pursue. Right? This from the Torah portion, right? This from Deuteronomy chapter 16, verses 19 and 20. That's what we're reading. Straight from the Torah. Right? Listen to how he breaks this down. I want y'all to get this. Halakhically, we do not rush to judgment, immediately finding someone to blame and point the finger at, right? You don't do that. You don't say, he guilty, they guilty, and you go through all this to try to show that they guilty. That's not how Torah court works. That's how American court works, as we see. That's not how Torah court works, right? We do not rush to judgment, immediately finding someone to blame and point the finger. Neither does the Torah permit us to ignore possible wrongdoing by the rich, powerful, or popular individual. You can't do that. Honest judgment is only possible when extraneous details are set aside, and when one has the patience to hear all sides before rendering a decision. You gotta have the patience to hear all sides, right? Because by the word of 2 or 3 witnesses shall death be put to death, right? He shall not die or be unalived by the word of one witness. In other words, in order for a court to find a person guilty of a capital crime, multiple witnesses are required. The court was obligated to investigate every facet of their testimony. In other words, the witnesses are interrogated. Not they get up there and they tell her, oh, I think this happened. Oh, that happened. Oh, okay. I think that happened. And all them young men who got up there and blamed everything on Carmelo, all of them told a different version of the story. Some said it was this way. Some said it was that way. You're supposed to interrogate them. Not just go with this way or that way or that way. You're supposed to interrogate them. That's how they did it. The court was obligated to investigate every facet of their testimony in order to find the least contradiction. So in other words, you're looking for a contradiction. You're looking to say, like we seen on that clip from Menace to Society, when the police has him in an interrogation room and he said, you see, you messed up. You know you done messed up, because first you said this and then you said that. And he's like, no, I mean, you're supposed to interrogate them. Why? If there was any possible way to find the defendant innocent. Listen to this now. If there was any possible way to find the defendant innocent, the Torah required the court to set him free. But on the flip side, if you couldn't find anything to make him innocent, then he's guilty. Ricky Chow and your son, guilty. Right? So I'm not going to hit y'all too much more with that. I done went over my time limit that I wanted to set for myself by 20 minutes. So I thank you, everyone, for being on here with me, and for going through this with me. And I just want to give a shout out to one of our sponsors. So I have the Art of Clothing garments on right now, so I want to give a shout out to him, and also Brother Morse from the next session. He actually made a video for this young lady right here, which is Simply Gorgeous Glow. All right, so shalom, 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 everyone. Thank y'all for tuning in with this. Like I said, I'm going to do a part 2 where I get into more of the things and talk about all these different cases and try to hammer in on you the Torah perspective. I want you guys to be able to get the Torah perspective, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So thank you guys for being here with me tonight. I know it was late. I'm going to try next time I go live about something like this. I want to do it a little early, but I appreciate all of y'all for being in the building with me. And I want to bid you all shalom.